All right, Chargers Nation, it's that time again. Week 8 is here, and the excitement is building as our LA Chargers are gearing up to face off against the New Orleans Saints. Before we dive into the matchup, let's take a moment to break down what our star quarterback, Justin Herbert, had to say in his recent press conference. Grab your favorite snacks because this recap is packed with insights that could shift the momentum for our team this season. First up, Herbert took a long, hard look at their last game against the Arizona Cardinals. If you caught that matchup, you know it was a roller coaster of a game. Herbert was candid about the mixed results. "We just didn't execute," he said. Ouch, but let's be real. That's the name of the game, right? It's one thing to get into scoring position, but it's a whole different ballgame when it comes to actually putting points on the board. Speaking of points, let's talk red zone struggles. Herbert highlighted that they only made it into the red zone once last week. Yikes! But here's the kicker. He's got a broader perspective. Herbert's mindset doesn't just focus on those last few yards. He's thinking 30 to 40 yards out, emphasizing, when I talk about the red zone, I'm thinking more like 30 or 40 yards in. That's right. It's all about creating that aggressive mindset before they even reach the 20. Herbert stressed the importance of converting those drives into touchdowns instead of settling for field goals. Sure, having a solid kicker is great, but touchdowns are where the magic happens. If we want to win, we need to finish those drives strong. The Chargers need to focus on capitalizing on every opportunity, especially in a league where every point counts. If you've been following the Chargers, you know that Herbert and Joshua Palmer have been clicking lately, but what's interesting is how that chemistry has evolved over time. Herbert shared an exciting moment from their game against Arizona, where Palmer adjusted his route in real time. Herbert rolled out, and Palmer saw the opening, cutting back for a big play. It's all about reading the defense and having that trust to make smart decisions. Herbert's confidence in Palmer comes from years of building that connection. It didn't happen overnight. They've spent countless hours together since Palmer was drafted, getting on the same page. And it shows. On that crucial sideline pass, Herbert threw the ball even before Palmer fully turned around. Now that's chemistry. Despite the rough outing against Arizona, Herbert didn't dwell on the negatives. He was genuinely optimistic about the team's locker room energy. The players are owning their mistakes, learning from them, and coming back with a renewed determination. That's the kind of mentality that breeds success in the NFL. It's all about teamwork, and Herbert believes the bond they're building is going to pay off big time. Beyond just the red zone issues, Herbert mentioned the need for consistency. It's not just about fixing one area. It's about executing the fundamentals week in and week out. They had some good moments against Arizona, and Herbert knows that building on those positives is crucial as they prepare for the Saints. Now let's get into something exciting, the chemistry between Justin Herbert and wide receiver Joshua Palmer. If you've been following the Chargers, you know they've been building a solid connection on the field. Herbert shared a standout moment from the last game where Palmer made a fantastic adjustment on his route. Herbert rolled out, saw an opening, and Palmer cut back just in time for a big play. It's all about reading the defense and trusting each other to make those smart decisions. Herbert's confidence in Palmer is a result of hours spent together, building that rapport. It didn't just happen overnight. The two have been working hard since Palmer was drafted, and it shows. When Herbert threw that crucial sideline pass, he did so even before Palmer fully turned around. That's what we call chemistry, folks. Looking ahead, the Chargers are set to face a Saints team that's better than their record might suggest. Herbert knows not to underestimate them. He praised their defense and highlighted their playmakers, acknowledging how quickly things can turn in a game. The Chargers have to stay alert and not let the Saints' struggles lull them into a false sense of security. A true leader takes the blame, and Herbert is no exception. When it comes to the drop passes, he was quick to take responsibility. "I could have thrown a better ball or been more accurate," he admitted. That's what we love to see. A quarterback who holds himself accountable. He's not throwing anyone under the bus, but rather looking for ways to improve. Herbert also reflected on some protection calls that could have been better. He's not afraid to critique his own game and understands that acknowledging mistakes is crucial for growth. It shows a level of maturity that can only come from experience. In the NFL, sometimes an incomplete pass is a win, especially when it means avoiding a turnover. Herbert touched on the tough balance of accepting an incompletion at times. "Sometimes you just have to play it smart," he explained. "An incompletion can keep them in the field goal range or prevent a costly mistake. It's all about making strategic decisions in the heat of the moment. Let's talk practice for a sec. One of the cool things Herbert shared is how he and Coach Dern occasionally address the team before warm-ups. It's all about keeping that focus and tempo up. They've been preaching the importance of maintaining pace and sticking to their guidelines. This is what it takes to be successful in the league. Game day is where the magic happens, and Herbert opened up about the process they go through. Even though they have a game plan, adjustments are always on the table. If they see that the offensive line is dominating, they might switch to a run-heavy approach. Herbert knows that communication with Coach Roman is key. He's there to exploit any defensive mismatches and make the right plays. Injuries can throw a wrench into any game plan, and Herbert acknowledged the impact of losing key players like Sean and Joe. However, he sees it as an opportunity for others to step up and shine. The Chargers need to stay engaged, both in the film room and on the practice field. Building a complete team effort is essential, and it's up to everyone to rise to the occasion. After 6 games, the Chargers are still in the process of finding their offensive identity. Herbert pointed out that it's challenging to establish that during training camp or OTAs. You need those in-game reps to really figure things out. Coach Roman has done a stellar job putting the team in positions to win, and Herbert is ready to throw it 40 times a game if that's what it takes. Herbert opened up about the game day process, revealing that even though they have a game plan, adjustments are always on the table. It's not uncommon for Coach Roman to feel out the game and change the strategy on the fly. If the offensive line is dominating, they might switch to a run-heavy approach. But if Herbert sees an opportunity, he's ready to audible to a pass play that can exploit a defensive mismatch. It's hard to find your offensive identity when injuries keep throwing wrenches into the game plan. Herbert acknowledged that losing key players like Sean and Joe can impact their progress, but he also sees it as a chance for others to step up. As long as everyone stays engaged in the film room and on the practice field, the Chargers will keep building toward a complete team effort. When asked if the team recognizes weaknesses in the opponent's defense and decides to adjust, Herbert confirmed that it's a key part of their strategy. They keep open lines of communication with Coach Roman, and Herbert aims to be an extension of him on the field. It's all about making the right call and executing as a cohesive unit. There you have it. A deep dive into Justin Herbert's mindset as he prepares to take on the New Orleans Saints. From addressing their red zone struggles to building chemistry with Palmer and respecting a tough opponent, Herbert is all about focusing on the details. The positivity in the locker room, the accountability he takes, and the commitment to adapt and grow are all signs of a team ready to bounce back. The chemistry with Palmer, the focus on execution, and the respect for a tough opponent all point to an exciting Week 8 showdown. As the Chargers aim to bounce back and solidify their identity, all eyes will be on Herbert and his offense to deliver a stellar performance. So buckle up, because this Sunday at SoFi Stadium, we're in for a game that could define the Chargers' season. As we gear up for Sunday's showdown at SoFi Stadium, keep your eyes on Herbert and the offense. This game could be a defining moment for the Chargers' season. So let's rally together, cheer loud, and show our support as they aim for a stellar performance. Go Chargers!